Like painting his critics as flames in the wind that disappear. Insane and illiterate, these dragons innocent as little deer. Like painting his critics as flames in the wind that disappear. Insane and illiterate, these dragons innocent as little deer. Like speaking with a long delay, like reading that thing about John McCain on David Foster Wallace Day, abandoning drama for improv and play. As his bandana drifts to the pavement, his ballad stands as a political statement, something of the mummery in running a nunnery. These underwaves, doves above, love to be underneath. Another puzzle piece, his subtle speech. In the puzzle there was peace, drugs, and relief from governmental reach in an uncentral niche. As the black baby boy sings operatic, the true meaning of noise on the wings of a pterodactylic, trochaic, trapped in the critic's mosaic, the commentary naked and of the body sacred, swantology playful id, and the hateful critic, like some hero of chivalry. The dream he built in his dream, truth filtered through the medium, and projected as the real AM. Like painting his critics as flames in the wind that disappear. Insane and illiterate, these dragons innocent as little deer. Like painting his critics as flames in the wind that disappear. Insane and illiterate, these dragons innocent as little deer. So much has occurred since the last verse, in fusty words mincing matters. Alas, he serves his printed patterns, the black nerdy kid with Asperger's, growing to know he's asexual. His soul's poetry strange as the blue rose, phallic, this protective blue wrapper. He had to select a tune by ABBA. Through his blackness led to New Canada. Humanity to its end as Fukuyama. The words in this sentence, an end of history. To end pretension, end literacy. Knowledge is artifice, hardly simple, artificial. This measured arc of a thrown apple, the clever dark cold of Glasgow, and as from the car this rope and grapnel, so they chart the flow of capital, an essay with art by Joe Sacco. Another star with no gavel as Absol, locked away for tax evasion, till God makes his last creation. We'll all conflate his tapestry making and the greatest gallery's paintings. Like painting his critics as flames in the wind that disappear. Insane and illiterate, these dragons innocent as little deer. Like painting his critics as flames in the wind that disappear. Insane and illiterate, these dragons innocent as little deer. And like a kiosk, stripped of its news, superhuman wickedness, this fireworks show for the shoemakers, this minor ghost, the mad doctor, starving and drunk, his last thought, an arbor in the sun. Thanatos in a carnal tongue, raps shot from a gardener gun, unnatural. The philosopher reasons, jazz for the soul, as Oscar Peterson, the black ghost. These autumn evenings, scanning poems by Wallace Stevens. On the T-Dot trip with his crew, he rethought the myth and its use as the kiosk stripped of its news. This green plot, pacific and groovy as the kiss of human greed. Amid the perfume of the trees, true evil. True evil. True evil. True evil. As the blizzard or fog of awareness, as the mist agog in mascara, this Paris of carelessness, a Vancouver psychological, the poet a city teeming as the novel. Cold and glittery, the sea responsible, cold and bitter, we breathe through the nostrils, walking in snow. Shackled with bipolar, etc. in the hospital, a denizen apocryphal, the bastard and forgery spreading his gospel on placards abnormal and free, extending his own peculiar sweetness as the orange tree. Abolish the Mental Health Act and colleges' entrance exams. The lost records of a red cat involved with the clever man, locked in the VGH psych ward, who deviates Christ word and Mike word. These bestial pounds in their cages, sleeping around with many strangers. This novel form of animal sex, more twaddle for the radical left. This anarchist rapping his word reflection of his purpose and acting absurd at them.
Oh, so that's why he's behaving so weirdly.
Telling it slant as Hegel and Kant to reward close study, this oral cunning, these masks, these raps, these personae, to smash our speech into words that rhyme.
Sort of.
A stick man, id est a dithyramb, id est invisible clan we withstand, id est click clack, id est micmac, give it back, id est nickelback, idiomatic, id est stillmatic, cratylus, id est the platonist, platonist, id est to play his hit, maple syrup, id est the Drake era, Canadian bear hug, id est made in America, strange but fair in love. A pair of gloves. Id est to tear it up, the terrible pun. Id est I dare you to run. I'm very drunk. Id est stoned, also saxophone, alto, also substantial. The cycle of id est. This also unnatural life world of id est. To rap on the microphone, id est internet, id est cishet Middlesex, also colonized, also swan's cry, also lost in lies, also modernized, id est long knives, id est crocodiles, id est Pontius Pilate, also mindfulness. The doggerel drove Dante to chatter apocryphal colorful tomes with nonsense chapters, philosophers cloned as velociraptors, also rappers. Id est Salinger, wrong and phony. Id est the blackbird, manifold. Id est the black hole. The language sectile, divided, spraying projectiles, his rhymes as Wordsworth's prelude. Have you heard the great news? As through the mall he maneuvers, this crucial Luther, call him a tumor. In the brain of Vancouver, reigning rumor, these deep prints, a shower of gold, refuting obedience, this down-to-earth soul, heard alone howling at the moon, that's the sound of his doom. His dark office and sardonic words of a cartographer, a work of art, this water from a rock, revolutionary these unstable bars, a somewhat painfully scarred hermit producing from his satchel a calculator, a rapper bound to his failure, thrown overboard by the poet holding his sword. High piracy, this quixotic mariner, so groovy his spin on the character. Poetry, his pulse, wholly from his mouth, his bloody vampiricism, so irrational yet outre. These cancelled new days, his dismay, this Jesus Christ, leaving us rising in a beam of light. Enlaced in a tongue like rainbow ribbons, a language running like names in a river, these gills uncertain, fins uncertain, a fish in the world of men, this complicated musketeer, lobbing the grenade and plugging his ears. What the fuck else was there to do but this continual enchantment of the wind with his accent, his accidents, radioactive, made of plastic, the tape of his raps, these naked flashes of numinous nonsense. Numinous nonsense of lines as the necks of black swans you try to detect as gravitons, but you could never delve to the bottom of this deep honesty, rocks and trees. As pawns defeated, a god in secret, the wrong Jesus. Terribilem in modum, his Latin ghostly, thrown into the potion, his raps and poetry, the bough of a golden tree, scales of the Leviathan, the whale's style of fin, the mane of a lion, and grapes from the vine, and plasmodium and toe fungus, black as petroleum, this vast ocean shifting as an alphabet, coughing up verbiage upon the plage or page, to dance in the raindrops drip drop, wrapping a chaos of literary thought as hip-hop, to dance a ballet for God invisible, the sacred moss and drifting fog connoting mystery, these pages of Kant torn and scattered beneath the trees.